Hello students, this is the 7th day of the course. We have a 2 weeks online mathematics course to boost your annual examination, and today the topic that we have selected, that is two. The first topic is data handling and the next topic is ratio and proportion. So let's start with the first topic, that is data handling. Alright, so here first we will see what is data. So data is a collective facts, figures or information gathered for a specific purpose. Okay. Now the types of data, there you will find out there are two types of data, primary data and secondary data. So the primary data are like collected by the investigator, survey and observation, and the secondary data are those like which are already available data, that is in the book, newspapers and records. Okay. Now especially in maths, what we are going to do, that with those data that we will have here, with all those data, we need to draw some visualizations. The first visualization that we have, that is bar graph in class 7. So now let's see what is a bar graph. So just I'm drawing a sample picture of it. You will be given with a graph paper and all those given data. Based on that, we are going to just draw bars like that. Just one example, if I say that like you are in a classroom and you are going to like give some colors like red, green and blue. So the students are now selecting the colors according to their favorite colors. Okay, so let us say that the number of students, that those who like the red color, it's 20 students. Number of students those who love green colors, they are 15, and the number of students those who like the blue colors, they are in 30. So now according to their value that we call frequency. So according to the frequency, that how many students like the particular colors, like suppose for an example, the red that I've told you 20, the green that I've told you like 15, and for the blue it's 30 students, those who like this particular colors. So now based on that, we are going to draw the graphs. Now here we need to write down this, that this is for red, this is for green, and this is for blue. Okay, now this is just a sample picture, and usually we do this. This is called the vertical bar graph. There are horizontal bar graph too, like is it mentioned here, this can be vertical and horizontal. So when it is horizontal, the graph will look like this. The graphs will be visible in this manner. Suppose this is for red, this is for green, and this is suppose for blue. Okay, and the graph will look like this in that particular case. So as you can see, the bars are now in the horizontal manner. All right, in this case in the vertical bar graphs, these are in the standing lines format, right? So now this bar graphs we have to draw based on the given data. Okay, now next is like the steps that we are going to follow for drawing this bar graphs. So usually if nothing is told, usual case we draw the vertical bar graphs. Okay, now the case is here it's told that the points we need to keep it in mind, that the height or the length of the bar shows the value that I've already told you earlier just now, that the value means here they are talking about frequency. Okay, frequency is the particular value for like how many times that particular things are actually repeating. Okay, that's called the frequency. All right, now the equal spacing between the bars, that is a very essential thing. This is very important because sometimes you will find out that the common error the students usually make, that suppose this is a bar graph, the picture that I'm showing you. So there are 2 points you need to keep it in mind. 2 points. What are the 2 points? The 2 points are like this. Whenever you are drawing a bar graph, keep this 2 points in mind. The point number 1, the bar should be of equal length. Okay, equal length. That's the point number 1. That means the thickness of the bar for all of them should be equal, which in this case are not equal. You will see this is a bit thicker and this is a bit thinner, right? So now this won't work, this is a cross. Another mistake that I have made in this bar graph is, so that you can also understand the mistake that you usually make, that you see the gap here, you see the gap here. That is the second point, that is told equal spacing between the bars. So in this case also this is coming as a wrong picture. All right, so next point is the suitable scale must be chosen. That means suppose for like 1 centimeter or 2 centimeter 2 mm graph, so what we do usually we use 2 mm graph papers. Okay, so we need to maintain the scale, whatever scale you have chosen. Based on that we have to draw the further scalings. All right, means for the 1 centimeter, first 1 centimeter if you have taken 0 to 10, then for the second 1 centimeter also you should take 20, and the third 1 centimeter will be also another 10, so it's 30. But in certain case, if you find out that there are some students, those who like do it like this, just a moment, yeah, those who do like this, suppose for the first 1 centimeter they have taken 10, for the second 1 centimeter they have taken it 15, so it becomes 25, then it's wrong. So the second point, what it's like the scale. And the third point also you need to note it down, that I've told you earlier, that the thickness of the bar, each bars should be of same thickness. Okay, keep that in mind. These are all 3 points. I repeat once again orally. Point number 1 is the gap between 2 bars will be equal. Point number 2, each of the bars thickness or the width, if you say, should be same. Now the last one and the most important, if I say, like the scale should be maintained. Okay, so these are the few things that we need to keep it in our mind. Okay, now the steps it's mentioned here, that draw two perpendicular axis, x-axis and y-axis. Okay, now choose a suitable scale that is suitable for your data. Means when you see the data, you need to check, like if the data is quite bigger, you need to check the, like take the scales in that particular way. Now label the axis properly. Like suppose for example that the sum that I've started with, let me draw the figure once again. So this is the like y-axis, the vertical one we take as y-axis, and the horizontal one we usually take as x-axis, and this is the origin, that is O. Now suppose for an example the sum that I've started with, that the red color favorite is 20 students, green colors like by 15 students, and the blue color is a favorite for 30 students. So whenever I'm just going to draw this graph here, I am going to take suppose the vertical bar graph only. So suppose for an example I have taken the red color here, green color here, and the blue color over there. Okay, now we need to write the proper labeling here. This is red, this is green, and that is blue. So here we can write colors, arrow, and here we need to write that number of students. All right, and these are called the labelings. Okay, these labelings need to be done properly, like what represents what. All right, that need to be maintained properly. So I'll drop all these things. The next thing is the draw bars according to the data value. Like for the green, you have taken, now suppose if I show you, like this was red. Now suppose for an example, this was red and the red value was 20. This was green, the value for green was 15, the value for blue was 30. Now just for an example, you swipe the values, like you have taken for red, you have taken the 30 height. Okay, means like you have made it red as of 30 height and written here 30, and for the blue one you have taken it as 15. So then also your graph will be entirely wrong. All right, so keep in mind that the data that they have given, that we follow it and do it according to that. All right, and give a title, or if I say like it's a caption. Caption means what graph you have drawn. So like here you write that the above graph represents that, like the number of students, like the favorite colors of the number of students, that is what. All right, now what are the uses, or like what we are going to like visualize, and what are the applications? Okay, applications of like the graphs, bar graphs especially here we are discussing on. So the first use is easy to compare the data. Like see, this is the main core concept when we visualize any data. The main reason why we use the data visualization is that it is easy to understand, easy to like analyze the data without like going into the numbers. All of you will agree with the point that whenever we see something, it's like stuck our brain quickly and we can easily memorize and digest the matter. Like when we see the numbers, it's quite difficult for us to like remember all the values and numbers, right? Now widely used for surveys and reports. In the later classes you will find out there are pie charts too, like so the pie charts, the bar graph, whatever you say, like all of these are called data visualizations. Okay, and now these data visualizations are done in various sectors, and the main purpose, if you say, these two only. Okay, that easy to compare the data, that comparison, and we usually use this kind of for the surveys and reports. Okay, come to the third point, that is measures of central tendency. Okay, the first thing that we are going to see, that the mean. So what is mean? The mean formula is given here, that is the sum of observations by number of observations. With an example, if I see this, see they have given us 4 data, that is 5, 7, 9 and 11. Now how to find out the mean of them? So we are just going to just add all of them quickly in the numerator, and in the denominator we are going to put 4. Why? Because there are 4 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 observations. All right, so if you follow the formula for this particular sum, it's 32 by 4, and if you cancel them, the final answer is 8. All right, this is how we are going to find out the mean of any given data. Next thing is median. The definition says the median is the middle value when the data is arranged in ascending or descending order. This is very vital. Don't be confused whether we are going to arrange them ascending or in descending. It is up to your choice. If you choose ascending, if you choose descending, both of them will give you the correct answer. Alright. Now the steps. Suppose they have given you this data for an example that 3, 7, 5, 9, 11. We have to find out their median. Okay. We are going to find out the median. Now, the step number 1, arrange the data in order. So first we need to arrange the data. See, the data are now arranged. They have arranged in ascending order. Now, once you have arranged them, just find out the middle value. Now, if it is odd, it will just choose the middle value. If it is even, then you have to arrange the two middle values and find out the average of them. So I'm showing you an example. As there was odd number of data like 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. So 7 was the middle one, right? Let me show you here. So like it was given as 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11. Okay, so as you can see that 7 is the middlemost value, and the left of 7 there are 2 observations, and the right of 7 there are also 2 observations. So 7 is the middlemost value, and this is the answer for median. Is it clear now? Now suppose there are odd number of terms. Like if I add one more term with this, like 3, 7, it was 3, 7, 5. Suppose if I add the 6 also with the 6, 9 and 11. Alright, so there are now 6 values. So let us arrange them first. So if I arrange them in descending order or ascending order only, let's say like this, like 3, 5, 6, 7, 9 and 10. Sorry, 11. So now what we can see that we have two values in the middle, that is 6 and 7. Now these two values like cannot be like considered as the answer of median, right? So what we have to do now, that if you see the steps, the step for the number 2 was written average. So now we have to find out the average of 6 and 7. How to find the average? Just add them and divide it by 2. So the answer is 6.5. So that will be the final answer for median. Alright. So I've shown you both of the examples that how we can find out median, whether the number of observations are odd or even. Clear? Now the next is mode. How we can find out mode? The definition is mode is the value that occurs most frequently. Like mostly occurred value is called the mode. Very simple concept. Like they have given us few data, you just find out that particular observation which has occurred highest number of times. That's it. So if you see how many 2's are there, only 1. So the frequency of 2 is only 1. Like if I make a chart like that, so the observation, okay, so if I make a chart like this, just a moment, yeah, observation and the frequency. Alright, so if I say how many times 2 has occurred, only 1 time. How many times 4 have occurred? 2 times, so 4 frequency is 2. How many times 6 has occurred? Only once. How many times 8 has occurred? Only once. So if I count all of this frequency, I should get 1 plus 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 data, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, 6 data. Oh, sorry, the frequency of 4 was 3. So frequency of 4 was 3. Anyway, the 2 was 1. Now see, now the highest frequency here is 3. So our answer will be 4. 4 is that particular observation which has repeated highest number of times. So here the answer, that is mode, will be 4. That is the answer, right? I hope it's clear. It's very simple. It is the simplest among the other two, because other two involve some of the formulas. But in mode, you don't need to see any formula. You just observe the data. Like you just see which data, which observation repeats highest number of times. That will be your answer. Okay. The set of data that you may have like 1 mode, 2 mode or no mode. Like if you see that all the data are repeating only once, so there are no modes. Okay. Now if you see that like this particular example that we have solved just now, there is only 1 mode. So this is called unimodal. Now there can be some particular sums where there are like 2 modes, like both of that particular observations are repeating highest. Suppose the highest frequency we find out from the chart, that is suppose 4 or 3. So now there are 2 particular observations which is having 3 as frequency. Now we have to declare both of them as mode because both are repeating highest number of times. Alright, I hope the concept is clear. Okay, so after mode we have probability. So what is probability? The probability is the chance of an event occurring. So any event that will occur or not occur, or what is the probability that it will occur, that's given by the formula. So the formula, as we can all see, that probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by total number of outcomes. This is the formula, and the range of probability can be minimum 0 and maximum 1. So remember, if there is an event A, so the probability of the event A can be maximum equal to 1 and minimum can be 0. So for any case, the value of probability cannot go beyond 1 or lesser 0, means negative. All right, this is a very vital note on probability. Don't forget this. Now an example. So probability of getting ahead when tossing a coin. So first we are going to see the answer is given 1 by 2. Let's see how. So when you are tossing a coin, what are the chance of the what are the outcomes that we can see? Either we'll see head or we'll see a tail. Now they want a head. Now how many heads are there? Only one. So it's 1 by total number of observations, that is 2. So if you see the formula once again, so it was written that number of favorable outcome divided by total number of outcome. So your favorable outcome when you are trying to find out a head will be your 1, because there is only one head, and when you are trying to find out like head, it's 1 by total number of outcomes. So how many total outcome you can see? Head and tail. So there are 2 outcomes, right? So it's 1 by 2. Clear? Next example shows us, let me clear all this. Yeah. Next example shows that probability of getting an even number on a die. So you all know there's a die that has 6 faces, all the faces having numbers from 1 to 6. So if I want to know that what are the numbers written on a die, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, right? So they want an even number only they want. So what are the even numbers here? 2, 4, 6. So your favorable outcomes are only 2, 4 and 6. So it will be 3, and total number of outcomes will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So there are total 6 outcomes. So 3 by 6 after cancellation, 1 by 2 is the final answer. I hope it's clear, right? Okay. The points to remember for data handling whenever you are solving questions from it. So mean uses all values. Median depends on its position, okay, because it's position wise dependence, like the middle value. The mode depends on frequency, and the probability always stands between 0 and 1. These are the very important points to remember when you're answering, because your answer, suppose for probability you got an answer of minus 1 by 2, so just cross check your value once again, because the value is wrong. It cannot go lesser than 0, right? Okay. The exam tips when you are giving an ICSE examination is show steps, because there are step marking. So if you cannot do the entire sum, no problem. Suppose a part of the sum is done, so at least for the parts you can get some part marks. All right. Now need bar graphs, and that is also with scales and levels. All of these particular things having their part marks. Okay. And the probability values you have to simplify. As we have seen in the last example, that answer was, here I want to show you, the answer was 3 by 6. So if you write 3 by 6, maybe some of your part marks may be deducted. So please write down after cancellation and the simplest form, it's 1 by 2. Please write 1 by 2, and that is the final answer. If you do not write 1 by 2, maybe you will not get the whole mark. Okay. Now the next topic for our video is ratio and proportion. So now the ratio, what is the ratio? Is a simple definition. A ratio compares two quantities of same kind by division. So the two things of same quantity, just for an example, you want to find out the ratio of your maths marks and physics marks, so you can just find the ratio. But if you want to find out the ratio of a maths marks with your height, it won't be formed, because two things should be of same type. They are not same, so you cannot find out the ratio. Just for example, if I say 5 kg is to 5 kilometer, the ratio cannot be formed. All right. So I hope the concept is clear, because their types are not same. One is kg and one is kilometer. Means one is your mass, one is your distance, right? So they won't work. All right. Now how we present them? The presentation is either A is to B or A by B. Always remember that when you're, I think this should be small a, so small a is to B or A by B. But always remember, if they ask you to find the ratio, always write down as A is to B. Okay. Now example that you have to find out the ratio of 10 to 20. So it's 10 is to 20. The step will be 10 by 20. After cancellation we got 1 by 2, and the final answer we are going to write as 1 is to 2, because we have to find out the ratio. Okay. Now next point is simplest form of ratio. The simplest form, for example, I'll come to the steps later on. See the sum first, that we have to simplify 24 is to 36. So how we can do this sum? Okay. So first we have to find out the HCF of the terms. So you have to find out the HCF. The HCF is 12. Now what to do? Divide each terms by their HCF. Just divide them. So you got 2 is to 3. Now very simple. If you don't do like this, you just write the numbers in divided by form. Just cancel them with the smallest prime number, like 2. That is the common factor. So 12, 18. Again cancellation is on. So cancel again. So again cancellation with 3. So I'm getting 2 by 3. Final answer will be 2 is to 3. It's the same like that they have got, right? So that's the way. If you do not find out the HCF, you can do it like this as well. So both will give you the simplest form. Next is equivalent ratio. So two ratio can be looking different, but they are actually showing you the same ratio. So two ratios are equivalent if they have same value. The example like 2:3, 4:6, 6:9. Basically all of them are 2:3. If you check properly, like 4:6 is 4/6, you cancel, you get 2/3. 6:9 you get, like after cancellation again 2/3. So all of them are 2/3, so they are called equivalent ratios. Next, comparison between like of the ratios. So how to convert, like compare the ratios? So first we have to convert them into fraction, make the denominators same, and compare the numerators. So how to make denominators same? Again you have to find out the LCM of the denominators, LCM of the denos. So then you will find out like the answers. Like how to do this? Like for an example here, 3:4 and 5:6. Write both of them as the fraction form, like 3/4 and 5/6. So what are their denominators here? 4 and 6. So let's like 4 and 6. So the LCM of 4 and 6, LCM of 4, 6, this will be your 12. Now what to do with this LCM? Once you get this LCM 12, just like you divide, like means make the LCM that is 12 in their denominator. Like it was 3/4. Now think of how you can make 4 as 12. What to do? Multiply 3. So once you multiply 3 here, you have to multiply 3 in the numerator as well. So you got 9/12. Same for like you had 5/6, right? You had 5/6 here. How to make 12 in place of 6? You have to multiply 2. Once you multiply 2 here in the denominator, you have to multiply 2 in the numerator as well. So your 5 cross 2 become 10, 10/12. Now once you see both of their denominators become 12, means the LCM that you found previously. Now just compare their numerators, 9 and 10. Which is bigger? That will be bigger. Means this 10 came from this 5:6, so the 5:6 is bigger than 3:4. I think the steps are clear, right? Next is proportion. What is proportion? The proportion is like when two ratios are equal. That is very important. Two ratios are equal, they're in proportion. Like just simple as like that we have seen 2:3 and 6:9. They are both basically 2:3, so we can say they are in proportion. This is the proportion symbol. Is to twice. Okay, now how to check they are in proportion? There is a rule called like product of the extremes equal to product of the means. So like product of the extreme means 2 into 9, how much you got? 18. Product of the means this 2, 6 into 3, it's also 18. If they're equal, you say yeah, this is in proportion. So this is correct. Now the rule is already written here, so I'm highlighting the rules. This is very vital rule to check when they ask you to check that, say that these given ratios are in proportion or not. So we can check like that. So let's remember the extreme means they are in the boundary A and D. Okay. Now the means which are in the middle, like B and C. So can just multiply it and check that whether this both side values are same. If they are same, so it's in proportion. Now finding the fourth proportion. So suppose three numbers are given like 4, 6 and 8. Now we have to find out the fourth proportion that is absent. So we can take it as X. So as we do like there's a ready-made formula. If you can't recall that, you can just do with the product formula. So the formula says that, if you can remember that, the formula says that product of the means divided by the first ratio. Product of the means the fourth proportion was absent, so the second proportion and the third proportion, product of them divided by the first proportion. If you can't remember, no problem. The equation, if you follow here, it's 4:6 proportional to 8:x. So you multiply this 2, make an equation. 4x equals to 6 into 8. You got an equation. Solve x from this. The same thing that they have got, the answer is 12. Is it clear? I hope it's clear. Simple thing. Now there are two types of proportion that we can see. That is direct proportion and indirect proportion. Direct proportion means like when one value increases, the other one also increases. And the first one is decreases, other one also decreases. Like for an example, cost and quantity. If I say I want to like buy 5 kg of sugar, suppose certain amount I need to pay. Suppose if I say I'll buy only 1 kg or like 2 kg sugar, definitely I need to pay less, because here you see that the quantity has fallen, so the amount should also fall, right? So the same for like distance and time. If I say I think I require like more distance to cover, I require more time for covering the distance. If I require less distance to cover, I require less time to cover. Obviously it should be mentioned that the speed is constant. Okay, now the next is in inverse proportion. As I've told, means when one value increases, the other value decreases, like time and works. So like if I say you have to decorate your board, there are more students involved, so it require less time. Suppose if I allow only 2 people to like do the work, then more time will require. That means when one value increases, means number of workers increases, the time requires less, right? So same for speed and time. If you increase the speed of the car, less time will be required if the distance is fixed. Okay, and if you drive it slow, then more time required to complete that same distance. Which points you need to remember that ratio compares same kind of quantities that I have told you earlier. Proportion checks the equality of the ratio. That is called the proportion. That is the actual sense of proportion. When there are two ratios, that is suppose A is to B and C is to D, they are proportion only when like these two are actually same or equivalent ratios, or you can apply that formula that A into D equals to B into C. and always simplify the ratio. Any answer, always we need to simplify it. Okay, any answer coming as 3 by 6, don't keep it as like this, please write 1 by 2. All right, and the last point is cross multiplication to verify the proportion. Like the cross multiplication method is actually the same what I have discussed you here. Let me show you with a different color. Like a is to b means a by b, c is to d means c by d. Cross multiplication is like this, like a into d, that I've told you, a into d and b into c. So it's b into c and a into d. That's the x of cross multiplication. Okay, now the tips that you can follow for any kinds of boards exam, that always write the ratio in the simplest form. Working should be shown properly. Step markings are there, otherwise you'll miss out the step marking. Units, very important. Whenever any sums having units, 5 kilometers, you have written only 5 as answer, marks will be deducted. You will not get the full marks. And the extreme and means rule that I've taught you, that the product of the extreme is equal to product of means, use that to get your results. Okay, that's all for today's video. So today we have covered basically 2 topics. One was data handling and the other one was ratio and proportion. So the video was quite long today. I hope I suggest you to watch this video twice or thrice to just brush up your concepts. This is not the actual thing that how we can do it in normal classes. We have lesser time, so we are going faster. Any doubts, post the doubts. So tomorrow there will be a worksheet day based on these 2 topics. Till then, bye bye. Thanks for watching this video. Take care.